We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. Now we're going to do things a little different. We are going to provide an honest look at Ole Miss athletics for the fan, by the fan, and of the fan. That is what we do. Hell be to me. I'm just kidding. Tune in for some Ole Miss sports news. We're going to give it to you straight. Yeah, right now. The POMcast starts now. It happens now. Holy cow. Listen to me. It's starting. Well, it's going to start right about now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the POMcast. I am your host on this immaculate journey through the POMcast right here on a lovely, lovely Tuesday day at the palatial Central Florida studios. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's having a good time. I hope everybody's making the best out of this because spring is obviously here. For me, like spring lasted all through the winter, and now we're going to go straight to summer. But that's why we moved down here in the first place. Spring and summer is the two seasons. We can use our pool and things like that, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But I am your host, Stephen Willis, and of course you can follow us on Twitter at the Stephen Willis or at the Rebel Walk. You can catch us at both places there. You can catch us on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast. Hit a like there for me if you would. Subscribe to my page on YouTube at Positively Ole Miss. Also hit the bell for notifications. You'll know exactly what content is on the air and whether or not you want to spend time looking at it right then or catch it on demand later. And we're also on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss. Now, our catch-all sites will be Willis Digital Media, and they're on YouTube and Twitch as well. So things outside of Ole Miss and the Ole Miss stuff will go into that little silo, so to speak. If your audio is more of your bag, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. Those are the places we are in. Today, just want to let you know that our guest today we pushed out to next week with the news of the Tim Elko news and the transfer that is coming in from Miami. We want to cover him as well. I think his name is Nysier Brooks, 7-foot center out of Miami. He's nice of a rim protector. We got some highlights coming up for you later on him. But last night, Ole Miss, a 20-6 victor over North Alabama. The game, honestly, was out of control from the second inning on. It was called in the seventh inning because of the 10-run rule. Kevin Graham had a home run. You had triples from, it seems like everybody hit a triple. But Knox LaPazzer hit one. TJ McCants hit one. And I think Justin Bench did. I'm not sure. I could have that wrong. There's so many of them, I kind of lost count is the essential thing. We pitched the ball pretty well, played defense pretty well, gave us some hits, but, I mean, the game was 10-0 by the bottom of the second. It was already out of control. But the story of that game will be the injury to Tim Elko, who is our four-hole hitter. He's, former National Player of the Week winner. And there are reasons for concern about that. But we won't know anything till today. I think today they were going to get an MRI on it and find out what happened to see if the thing, because it could be a strain. He's out a couple of weeks. It could be a major thing, and he's out basically indefinitely. But that's something to keep an eye on as this goes. This is one of those situations where it probably isn't in your best interest to invent trouble. If you are generating an emotional response to this right now, that's probably not healthy. Wait until all the facts come out, and then we can react to it, basically. But as we are waiting and everything, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Hopefully everything with the situation goes well. The MRI comes back negative, but there's no need in this period of time going straight to that area where you just automatically assume the worst. It's not healthy. It's not good for anybody. But I mean, I understand people that have gone down that road because he's a heck of a player. If this happens, you will see probably, if he's out for any period of time, I think Justin Bench will stay at third, but you'll see at first base either Kel Baker or Trey LaFleur. Probably puts a little bit of hole in our lineup that was very, top to bottom where it needs to be. But you never can tell if it's Trey LaFleur or Kel Baker. They get on a hot streak, all of a sudden you could have a team that is just clicking about as well. I'm not discounting anything that is happening with the loss or potential loss of the player. I'm just saying don't get worked up until you see what happens from it. Hopefully everything works out fine and everything can basically be like normal. But if it's not, you have that. But it was a freak accident. It happens. We're going to take a break in a few minutes as well. But we're also, until then, we're going to talk a little bit about spring practice. And, they're going again this morning, and tomorrow we'll have sound like we normally do from practice. And anything that goes down to sound-wise, we're going to put it up. We thought we'd have sound after the injury from baseball last night. There was no sound to put up for you. So I do apologize about that. But we're out. We're looking forward every day. We're trying to make this the best possible experience for you on this video cast to basically give you what you want. Now, there's some places like, people ask me, like, what are you doing? What is your goal? And the goal is I want following the sports to be like it used to be. Now, I understand that things have changed, and obviously technology has shown to where I'm able to do this. But that's not really what I mean technology-wise. I mean feeling. Whenever you get a coverage of a report, and it's just fun to follow a team. Like way back when I was a kid, I was a Cubs fan, but mainly a box score Cubs fan. So every time when I picked up the newspaper and went straight to the box score page, found the score and started looking at it, I started to feel good. And you could follow them even though there's, nothing about personalities, nothing about people, and nothing about stories. You could just follow it and enjoy it. And it's really quick, and you get on with your day, but you feel like you are following the team. Now, there's not probably, you're not in it so deeply, but you don't want to be in it deeply. You want to go on and do what you want to do. You want to go on and live your life. You want to go on and have fun, because there's a point where an escape, which for many people Ole Miss football is, or Ole Miss sports are, it becomes an obsession, and that is unhealthy, and that allows you to be manipulated by people that seemingly have the facts, even though they might not. We're not going to be a type of news organization. We're not going to have competitors anywhere. Just understand that right off the bat. I don't care what you have. I don't care what you broke. I mean, you're not a competitor at all. I mean, but we will never be in a position where we will make up news. There's been some of that has happened. We will try to avoid anxiety and angst to try and grab you in coverage. Some other of that going on as well. And if you eliminate those two things, this should be able to get back to just being fun. Just being something that you want to do, something that you want to follow, something that brings you joy, which is honestly what Ole Miss sports was supposed to be all about. Period. Now, we can follow the ins and outs of, plays, X's and O's, and argue about that all day. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the general feeling that brings you to the box score in the first place, or to learn about the game in the first place. That, people went on about the selection process from the state government about the selection of the chancellor. Caused a little bit of a hubbub about that. But that doesn't really matter. That's outside of your control. That's outside of Ole Miss's control. That was a state of Mississippi issue from the beginning. Why is that inside the realm of what you think you should have control over? It was not an election. This is absolutely an appointment. It's like the Supreme Court judge. Whoever they pick, they pick. They won the right to pick them. That's part of why their elections matter. If you don't like the way they are picking them, vote for the other guy. Something like that. You can't have your cake and eat it too. It's a situation where there's got to be realistic expectations, and there can't be people just bitching about everything. Something's going wrong, something I don't like. Okay, there's the problem I have with this. That's something we need to get away from, and that's something that this site is going to actively try to do. We're going to cover Ole Miss sports right down the middle. We are Ole Miss fans, as you can see by the commercial before the show, and we're working on a deal right now with the University of Mississippi Athletics Foundation to do some Vault Society work for them. Going back and forth with Ian right now. So that's something that we were going to do down the line, and we're going to put some stuff down. And I know they're about to start a capital campaign. That'll probably be included as well. So you need to have joy. You need to be happy. You need to be less cynical. And if that happens, you will enjoy following Ole Miss sports. No matter what happens. No matter where it's been. I know I've been doing this for 40 years at this point. But that is going to be there for you. You need to be careful not to get caught in all the angst and anxiety that is done by the subscription services, because that's just the way they get you to spend money. That's the same thing with political donations. They try to scare you. They try to fill you with fear. And you subscribe to it because they may have information about some unknown thing that's a little bit scary to you, but in realistically does not exist. It's all a scare tactic. So we're going to try to avoid doing things like that. And we're going to try to have fun covering Ole Miss. And we want to be up and running and at the level by football season to where we're kind of we're kind of clicking. We're kind of there. We're not there yet. Our goal is by the end of this month. And you've noticed probably some technological glitches, and I appreciate you sticking around for them afterwards. But by the end of April has always been our stated goal, to be up and running and just providing the best content we can. But we're going to take that break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Nysier Brooks and his commitment to Ole Miss from Miami and what exactly that means. Until then, you stick around.
Only 10% of us get enough daily exercise.
And that number is dropping.
Nearly 30% of us are overweight or obese.
We spend 6 hours a day in front of a screen.
As a result, we now have a shorter life expectancy than our parents.
But give us the right start in sports, and we'll never stop.
Learn how at active4life.ca.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis from Positively Ole Miss. We're almost done with this break. We'll be back with good information quite soon.
The military has been in every generation of my family, and so has VA. It wasn't easy for my dad after Vietnam, but VA helped him and my mom get the home they'd always wanted. My grandpa's been coming to VA since World War II. They even helped him lay to rest one of his battle buddies from Normandy. And me, I followed in their footsteps and served with pride. And now that I'm out of the military, the GI Bill's helping me with school. Every generation of my family has served, and VA has served us all.
All right, welcome back to segment 2 of the POMcast. I'm your host, Stephen Willis. We're available on all these places that I've told you about today, but we're also available at the Rebel Walk, and you can just go over there and check out their content and what they're doing. And basically, they provide a subscriber-level service for no money. Doesn't cost you a thing. Doesn't cost you anything but your time. Evelyn does a fine job over there, and her team does a terrific job as well. But just as a reminder, just go over there, give them a look-see, go around their website. They do a little bit of recruiting now. It's therebelwalk.com. Again, that is therebelwalk.com, and they'll be glad to hook you up. Anyway, Ole Miss men's basketball got a transfer. One Nysier Brooks from Miami. He's a 7-footer. That is kind of a rim protector. Not much on the offensive end if you look at his numbers, but overall a pretty good player. He does a really good job guarding the rim, doing things like that. And, you know, if he can develop his scoring game somewhat, as you can see right there, he has a chance to be pretty special. That's the aspect of his game that he needs to work on. It's just his offensive game around the rim. I think he's averaged the last couple of years about 7.5 points per game. So it's not quite a Romello type look at on the offensive end, but he does provide more on the defensive end, and he is more of a rim protector. But I mean, you can see there's some hustle through there, and there's some very exciting players. But it's going to basically come down to what he can do for his inside game, to make him basically go from a good player to a great player, because that is the aspect that he needs to work on for the basic for this part of his journey. But Nysier Brooks to Ole Miss from Miami. That leaves 1 or 2 places available. I expect one of them to be the kid from Duke. I think Trevor Oxley talked about him online. That'd be the Jamin Brakefield. He's a very high-end player. He would have been the Deshaun Ruffin of last year's class, but he got a late offer from Duke and took the late offer from Duke. But he has a chance to be pretty special. To go with the you take Brakefield and the 7-footer in there, and all of a sudden you've taken care of their front court, and then you can go get a guard, and that seems like something they're going to want to do because they want some shot makers. Now we don't know about the what the 3 freshmen will look like on a college campus: Ruffin, White, and I'm sorry, it slipped my mind. This is the kid from Tennessee. How much of a shot maker they're going to be. They could completely revolutionize everything about the game for Ole Miss. But just in case there's a little bit of a problem, a little bit of a dip, because they expected last year's class to fill it up. And shooting obviously was a huge problem for them. You probably need to go get a shooter, probably. You need to go get a scorer. You've got Jarkel, you got a whole bunch of things, but to get one more, if that piece is available, it would probably behoove you to do that. And that'll change the way that teams play against us. That'll change the way we actually play the game. So it'll be interesting to see that, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'm waiting on the news, though, about Brakefield. I don't want to count chickens before they hatch too soon with him. But if he comes to Ole Miss, that would be the Romello level get for this year's class. And you take the 7-footer, put a guard out there. Jarkel can play the 1 or the 2. You got Matthew Morrell. You got Deshaun Ruffin. All of a sudden, you have a team that's kind of working together and becoming a fit to what you expect. So also Duke Collum transferred to Cal State Bakersfield. Good luck to him out there. I don't know. Leave in the comments below. Is Rod Barnes still there? If he's still there, let me know. I'm curious about that. Also, that'll probably pretty close to wrap us up, so just to let you know. But there will be no POMcast on Thursday and Friday. I have some VA stuff to do. Friday, I'm getting my second vaccination. Thursday are just medical appointment stuff. So that'll probably take, the time that the POMcast usually airs on. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't be here and be able to go live in the evening, but I imagine after taking that vaccine, it'll probably knock me down a couple of days. We're planning on doing a baseball series instant reaction on Sunday after the Arkansas series, and we had to push off the RW recruiting show to next week as well. We're trying to get Leanne on the show for tomorrow just to talk for a few minutes about what it's going to look like. So we are planning to try and do something like that as well. If you have any questions, comments, leave them in the comment section below. Hit us up on a review. Do whatever you need to do. Review us nicely if you would. And obviously, of course, whichever platform you are on, hit the follow button on Twitch, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, hit the like button on Facebook, hit the like button on Twitter. Do things like that. That'll give us a little bit of room, because right now we're between 300 and 700 views a day. Doesn't matter the video. I mean, we've hit close to 1,000, or we hit over 1,000 on a video, but we're building this up slowly, and we're intentionally building this up slowly. just to, you take the technology and you try to break it so you can fix it and understand what went wrong and what you can actually get done. Because this whole thing, as you can see, it's supposed to look complex. In reality, it's actually very simple. It has to be simple for me to talk for 30 minutes and do the show. So we're kind of in a good place right now at the moment, but we're going to go a little further. Also, Saturday on Willis Digital Media, we're going to do our Sunday part 2 of my acoustic neuroma story. That'll be about 10-15 minutes of me describing. The Sunday will be the actual surgery to the immediate aftermath of the surgery. And the whole purpose of these videos in this set of 3 is to help people that's going through the same thing, because whenever I got the diagnosis, I looked desperately for information that I could find, and it was all basically overproduced garbage online. And when in reality, I just wanted to know what was going to happen. That was the main thing. So I'm trying to put something like that on the internet, so if anybody searches acoustic neuroma, you can find that video and look it up. I'm going to give you probably a couple of minutes back. Thank you very much for joining me today. Again, best wishes to Tim Elko. Tomorrow we'll have sound from football practice, and we'll have results from the 6:30 first pitch, Ole Miss versus Alcorn State tonight. Until then, I'll catch you later, really.